Even right now, like we work, eat, sleep, Polygon, right? Like we don't think about anything else apart from that.
Hi, this is Steffi, and welcome to the Financial Fox Investing and Innovation Ideas with a Twist. In today's special episode, I will be joined by Janti Kanani, co-founder of Polygon, one of the top Ethereum scaling solutions. It has been a while I wanted to introduce my audience to Polygon, and I'm sure many of you already know it. Its name was Matic Network, and that is a project that I started to look at back in January this year when they were a fraction of a dollar. Actually, I remember they were 0.02 pounds. So, right, here we are, and they stand just below 1 pound. So, 1,000-fold growth, which is great. In this conversation, I try to break down some of the key components of blockchain scalability, technical terms such as layer 2, ZK rollups, and discuss more broadly composability and interoperability across different chains. So it is a very interesting and informative in conversation, so stay tuned.
Ethereum takes 15 seconds to 2 minutes to confirm your transaction, right? Polygon takes 2 to 4 seconds.
But before we go into the episode, have you got your crypto domain yet? If not, head over to Unstoppable Domain and secure your blockchain domain now. You don't need to worry about renewable fees. You pay, you get it, and it's yours forever. How cool is that? Domains are like NFTs, so you can trade them if you want, and they are decentralized, so no one can take them down or hack your data because they are only yours. Also, you can add your wallet and pay and receive Bitcoin, Ethereum, and 100 plus currencies. I have financialfox.crypto, and it was super easy to set up. There are plenty of new extensions you can choose from. If you are an artist, for example, you can do .nft, which is great, isn't it? So go to Unstoppable Domain and get your domain name now. Also, if you sign up with the link in the description, you support our channel, and that's great. And also, if you want to do a bit more for us because you like the work we do, you can make a donation in Ethereum or Bitcoin to financialfox.crypto, and we will be so grateful to you. So much appreciated. Okay, let's get into the episode.
Hey.
Hello.
Hello, how are you?
I'm fine. Hi. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you, and thank you for having me on this.
No, it's great. It's amazing. It's been a while. I really wanted to get you on the show because I started to look at Matic back in January, right? And you were, just getting started basically, and then everything boomed. And, it has been an amazing ride, I think, also from your side, onboarding so many dApps and, getting involved with so many interesting projects. So it's great to finally have a chat to.
We have a pretty good time, and we like in layer 2 space and scaling space, like we are only blockchain, you can say, helping application to scale, and happy to be part of the whole journey. Yeah, definitely.
Okay, listen, Janti, I would like maybe to start with, what is Polygon, why you have decided to, change your name, and basically how you solve the problem of Ethereum scalability. I think that would be a nice, introduction for anybody that is not so familiar with the project.
Definitely. Before Polygon, our name was Matic, right? We were called Matic Network, and we started in 2017, late 2017, and I was doing something, multiple side projects in my previous company, and one of the side projects needed payment system, and I was in India at the time, and I thought, like, let's have something which doesn't require KYC or doesn't require bank account for the company, right? Because I didn't want to create a company and then have a Stripe account or some PayPal account integrated, right? So I thought, like, there is some product called Bitcoin, right, and blockchain. Let me explore that. And then I started reading about Bitcoin and Ethereum and how to integrate into the application, my side project, and that's how I went deep into the Bitcoin and Ethereum, and at the same time, CryptoKitty got very popular, right? On Ethereum blockchain, and people were making transactions on that Ethereum blockchain, and they are paying thousands dollar or maybe $100 as a fees. If you want to deploy a huge contract, it basically costs you more. So I thought, scalability is a biggest issue at the time, and I thought, like, we can have something which can solve that scalability for the applications, and application then can deploy anything they want without worrying about the fees, high fees, or gas cost, or user experience. And that was the motivation for Matic blockchain.
I just wanted to ask why you choose Ethereum. But you could have built on Bitcoin. I mean, there are projects now they are trying to build the DeFi ecosystem on Bitcoin. Why Ethereum, and why also now you are a kind of campaign for Ethereum because you really support the network. So I really wanted to ask that question.
Definitely, Bitcoin, of course, like, you cannot deny that Ethereum has a huge community, right? And the community which has the smartest people in the world right now, right? And they are building something new every day. Like, if you see the DeFi, NFTs, or DAO, they are experimenting with the whole blockchain space, and it basically clicked me, like, it resonated with me at the time that the whole space is very much like a big experiment, and these guys on the Ethereum also doing something great every day. Also, kind of heavy, like, building on Ethereum would give you direct community. You inherit the tech community of Ethereum, and Ethereum tech community is pretty big as of yet. And at the time also, like, communities was a part, like, very important factor of any project. And that's why, like, we thought to currently everyone who I connected with that in 2017, 2018, or they all were building on Ethereum, right? So it would make sense for us to build on Ethereum instead of going for the different blockchain or Bitcoin. Yeah, that was the only reason. Yeah.
So coming back to scalability, you mentioned a few times the high Ethereum fees. So how fast is a transaction on Polygon compared to a transaction on Ethereum? If you can give some numbers, just so people get.
Definitely. Yeah. So Ethereum takes 15 seconds to 2 minutes to confirm your transaction, right? Uh, Polygon takes 2 to 4 seconds, right? The fees on Ethereum is, let's say, if you are currently fees are low, gas fees are low, gas cost, but in the peak time, you will be paying $10 to $100 to $200 for your transaction on Ethereum. But on Polygon, on Matic, you may be spending maybe 0.0005 USD or 4 USD. Like, it's very, very cheap. Yeah. So and if you see right now, currently we are making around 8 million transactions per day, and Ethereum is making 5 million transactions per day. So this is a huge leap from Ethereum. Yes.
It's impressive. So talking a little bit about some definition, because I want to make that clear. Some people has been calling Polygon a side chain. When some people in the company, they said, right, this is not a side chain. Is correct to call it a layer 2 solution. I would like you to tell me what's the right word to use and what is not right and why.
Yeah, definitely. See, people have their own definitions for each layers, right? So few people are saying, okay, hey, we are not layer 2 because we are not inheriting the security of the Ethereum, right? So it will be roll up. If you are a roll up or a ZK roll up, then you are a layer 2, right? The thing is that we have a chain. We also have a plasma solution, right? So plasma solutions, if you use plasma solution, then it's a layer 2, right? And if you use this as just a POS chain, then it's not a layer two according to other people, right? But I'm still like not sure like what is the right word for the whole system. The thing is, the sidechain is basically you don't rely anything on the Ethereum. It's just a kind of, you can say, okay, it's a L1, just a bridge to the Ethereum, right? But in our case, we are depending on Ethereum, not like roll up or not like sidechain. Like, it's in between. Like, so we also call ourselves a commit chain, right? A commit chain is basically we commit to the Ethereum in once in a while. So we have a mechanism called checkpoints, and checkpoint goes on the Ethereum chain after, let's say, 30 minutes or so. So you can always go and prove your transactions it happened on the Ethereum, on the Polygon or Matic chain or not. You can always do that by the having a receipt, Merkle Patricia proof and everything. So we called ourselves a commit chain for this POation, but we also have Plasma, which is layer two. We are also going to support rollups and ZK rollups in the future. Yeah, so you
Okay.
can, yeah, it's up to like no people's like I don't want to get into the fight of that. Yeah.
Okay, so do you maybe want to break down on how your technology managed to make transaction faster and how can keep them secure? So, maybe from a technical standpoint, just explain how Plasma works and how your network managed to maintain security.
Definitely. So, for example, let me start with the Plasma. So in Plasma, let's say if you make a transactions on the Polygon chain, Matic chain, and if let's say the whole Polygon chain goes down, you can always rely on the Ethereum chain. We have bunch of contracts on the Ethereum chain for Plasma, and you can always prove that, okay, hey, you made a transactions on the Matic chain, and that way you own this much amount of tokens on the Matic chain, and you can withdraw on the Ethereum chain by providing the proof, right? So that's how Plasma works. On the Polygon POS chain or commit chain, what we do is kind of, we have 100 validators, and they are running the chain. It's a kind of so we have a Tendermint consensus, and we have a kind of at the board level we have a modified click consensus. It's called board consensus. So in the end, like the 100 validators are responsible to run the network, right? And they push the checkpoints once in a while, as I said, 30 minutes to on the Ethereum chain. So you can always withdraw, verify your transactions, tokens on Ethereum chain, right?
Okay.
Yeah, so that's the difference. The second thing on the rollup works totally different. They also push the data. You send a transaction. Let's say if you're sending a transaction, they also put those data on the Ethereum chain. So you even if the whole rollup goes down, you can always create a chain out of the data you submitted on the Ethereum chain, right?
Okay.
So yeah, so you don't have to worry about the data availability and everything. In Plasma, there is no data on the chain, so you have to keep your data yourselves. Maybe you can prove later because you need to withdraw, right, with your token, so you need data to create a proof. So yeah, so those are the different terminology in the overview. Like, yeah, I obviously I won't go into deep because we have a less time. So yeah.
Yeah, so you mentioned before that you're going to soon support ZK rollups and multiple apps, specific chain to expand the Polygon ecosystem. So do you maybe want to to expand of that, and what's this going to be your focus for supporting ZK rollups?
Yes, definitely. So currently we are working on the same on the ZK rollup, and we're also working um, on some way to reduce the data on chain for the rollup. So we have a data availability chain as well. So we just launched data availability chain. So it will also help us to reduce the data footprint on the Ethereum chain when we launch the rollups, right? So it's called Validum. People call it a Validum. So yeah, so let's call it that, so people don't get upset about that. So yeah, so kind of our idea is to kind of people or dApps may want to have a different kind of security based on their security models. Some will work with the Plasma, some will with a commit chain, some might will work with a ZK or ZK rollup or optimistic rollup, and that's why like kind of we are expanding our ecosystem not just for the commit chain. We are expanding with the ZK rollups, and that's why we also changed the name, right, Matic to Polygon, because we wanted to make sure people understand that we are not just the Plasma or the POS chain or commit chain. We have become bigger, and we are also going to support multiple other solutions as we go in the future.
It looks to me like your focus here is really usability, user experience, and giving dApps as much freedom to build using your platform. Am I correct to say that?
Yeah, so we always thought about usability is the biggest thing we should focus on, because even if let's say if we think about the Plasma, we started with the Plasma, we started with the with not just a UTXO based Plasma, we went with a account based Plasma, EVM compatible Plasma, right? And then we also have this commit chain is a totally EVM compatible and you don't have to worry, your dApps doesn't have to worry about, your developer doesn't have to worry about moving or migrating your application from Ethereum chain to Matic chain or Polygon chain, because it's so easy for them, right? And that is also kind of one of our ethos at Polygon, as a company, as a startups, as a project, you whatever you want to say, is that we want to make sure we are very developer focused team, right? We also kind of help a lot when the developers want to migrate. We kind of help them a lot, like in personal and as a personal level, in the Telegram or Discord and wherever they want. So like no that way, like we want to make sure like we don't lose that ethos as we go ahead. And even if you provide a solution of ZK rollup or whatever technology we have in future, we will make sure that developers don't have to worry about the underlying technology and multiple other complexity we have as a tech. They just need to kind of deploy, and that's it. Like they should go without worrying about the complexity. Yes.
Okay, tell me a little bit about the proof of stake bridge, because you mentioned about moving, funds from one chain to another, and so I thought that was a good time to bring that up.
Yeah, I mean, no, you. So this is how it works. Okay, so you deposit your tokens on the contract on the Ethereum chain, and the all validators just kind of listens. 100 validator listens to those events. The transfer happened on the Ethereum chain. It can be token transfer. It can be any arbitrary data transfers. It just takes the data and just it creates the events, and all the other validators, 100 validators, they listens to those events and agrees on that. Okay, this happened on the Ethereum chain, right? And then they, based on the data you have on the deposit, you do the validator takes the actions. Action can be depositing or minting your tokens on the Polygon chain. It can be anything. It can be function execution. It can be anything, right? And now like you have a appropriate token on the Polygon chain which you deposited on the Ethereum chain, right?
Okay.
So that's how you move your tokens from Ethereum chain to Matic chain, Polygon chain, right? And then now you are on the Polygon chain. You can you can make a transfer, you can deploy a contract, you can do whatever you want as you would do on the Ethereum chain. You can do anything you want. And then let's say if you want to move your tokens in the proof of stake bridge from Polygon to Ethereum chain, you first burn it. You wait for the checkpoint, because checkpoint happens out every 30 minutes or so, depending upon the congestion on the Ethereum. Once checkpoint is done, you can verify your burn proof on the Ethereum that you have burned your tokens on the Polygon chain, and you can always withdraw those tokens on the back on the with Ethereum chain. So this is how it works here.
Okay, and one of the challenges, obviously, composability. I mean,
Yes.
bringing the liquidity, transfer it from one chain to another chain. So how are you looking to solve that? Solving from, so there is what I'm asking is like, are you looking to solve it from a protocol level or perhaps up level? What's your approach to composition?
Yeah, that's a great question. So this so there are two ways. Okay, so IBC works. Cosmos IBC, it works a protocol level, right? And the connection and the multiple other applications which help you to move liquidity from one chain to another chain using the application level, right? The thing with the application level is you need too much liquidity. You need liquidity to rebalance your the liquidity, because if, let's say, if you are sending too much USDT from one chain to another chain, you need more USDT on this chain, right? So it's very hard to do that. So what currently the bridge between Ethereum chain and Matic chain, we have a protocol level, you can say. The thing is that the thing we are working on in the future, let's say if we have multiple rollup or ZK rollup or other chains, we want to make sure we don't need a very high liquidity to move tokens from one chain to another chain. It should be easy as otherwise it will be very problem, because each token require a high liquidity, because your users won't be able to transfer otherwise. And yeah, I think that's very important. Since we are going ahead with the multiple other, multi-chain paradigm in the future, I think we have to think on how to move a set between the tokens without compromising, or with a high liquidity efficiency. That's very important. Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit more about scalability and other solutions which represent, for instance, a competition, let's say, to Polygon. I would like to mention here Binance Smart Chain, or for example, Solana, which are actually, Solana, for example, is a layer one rather than a layer two. And then you see, Ethereum layer two solution like Optimism, Polygon, Arbitrum. So what I would like to ask you, right, is how do you see the future, developing when we have got, this all the Ethereum ecosystem, and then we have got other projects they are developing quite fast, for example, like Solana and Binance Smart Chain?
Yes, definitely. So I admire the multiple experiments which being done in the ecosystem, like Solana, Binance chain, Near protocol, and other chains. The thing is that it's not just about the building; it's also about the make sure like you understand the developer's problem, right? And that's very much needed, right? Like when we started, we had computers like Omisego, state channels, counterfactual, and multiple other solutions with us. And I'm not sure anyone is kind of live right now, right? Because of there some people don't understand the developer mindset, and I think we kind of succeeded in terms of that, because we provide best support and user experience and everything. Of course, in the future, I don't know who will win. Maybe we will have a multiple chains like Solana, we will have a Polygon, Solana, Binance Smart Chain working on the same time. It's not like zero sum game. I'm saying like everyone kind of will win in the future, because we need more transaction scalability solutions anyway. People are more and more people coming to crypto and blockchain, and we should be ready for those people.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not a winner take all, it's more a take most, depending on what is a specialty, basically.
Yes.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you on that. So talking more about Ethereum version 2 coming in soon, and then Optimism started to being used as a layer 2. How do you see Polygon working together with Optimism, or do you think there will be some kind of competition? And what will be your advantage? So my question will be, would a transaction on Polygon be still cheaper than Optimism, for example?
It depends, like it will be cheaper because Optimism will send the data on the Ethereum chain. It might be little bit costly than Polygon. So in that sense, like if you talk about the transaction fees, Polygon will be cheaper. But of course, like security of the rollup will be little bit higher than um, theoretically will be higher than any other scanning solution, and ZK rollup will have a higher security than optimistic rollup for sure, like
All
in
right.
theoretically. Uh, ZK rollup will be costly here than optimistic rollup because they also need to create the proof and minimum transactions you have to be there. Otherwise, it will be too much costly for the for per transaction. And then I think when ETH 2.0 will come, like we also kind of help more people to come on the layer 2, because currently, let's say if you some if let's say if you want to deposit or withdraw on the Ethereum chain, it takes a lot of fee for you, right? But let's say 2.0 will come, that it will also scale the Ethereum transaction. It will more space for the more user for the layer 2. But of course, like this um, optimistic rollup has limitations on the scalability, like it can't scale infinitely, right? So of course, like we need even if it's 2.0 will come, I'm hoping like more people will come as a builder, and more transactions will come, because like in 2017, like we are making thousands of transactions, but now we are making millions of transactions per day, right? So like if people will come, if scalability solution will come, people will send more transactions. It's a simple thing. So I think everyone in the ecosystem will help each other to make the whole community better. And yeah, I think that's
Yeah, I like this point. You're basically saying more and more people come into the crypto space. So we need as many,
it's
solutions that
transaction.
can actually serve all these customers. Yeah, that's great. So talking about the dApps, they are using Polygon. How many do you have now?
Yeah, I mean, we
Do
have
you
lost
know
count,
the
to be
count?
honest. Yeah, yeah. So currently, like we have 500 plus dApps on Polygon, and that's a huge, like it's a like more dApps than any other layer one except Ethereum, right? DApps in the whole ecosystem. And we are also kind of onboarding multiple dApps every day. Like
Yeah,
the
I
count just
see.
keeps going up and up, and that's huge in terms of adoption, right? Like no one has those kind of volume, no one has those kind of dApps volume numbers there. And currently, I have some today only someone tweeted about the total value locked on the Ethereum on the Polygon chain is the $8 billion. It's a
Wow.
it's a lot,
Yeah,
right?
it's a lot. It's
Yeah.
a lot. Yeah. Well, mainly I would say these apps, they are either DeFi or NFTs, which are the main, the main sector. They benefit basically from fast transaction. I wanted to ask you, what are you expecting in terms of innovation from the DeFi space and then from the NFT space? What would you like to see in these dApps? Obviously facilitated, by Polygon. But what would you like to see as like innovative elements?
Yeah, I mean, of course, like DeFi is future of finance, as people say, and of course, like we need more experiments in the DeFi. Like I see, like say that there are multiple experiments being done on DeFi, but I also want to see like how it will behave when you don't have an incentive to provide a liquidity, right? Like
Yeah.
currently, liquidity mining is bringing the more liquidity into the DeFi products, but I also want to see like how it will work in real life, like when you don't have a huge liquidity coming in, right? Compared to normal finance, right? In DeFi, like currently, sorry, in the NFT space, I'm seeing the non-crypto people are coming into the DeFi NFT space slowly, but not at that rate I'm expecting, right?
Okay.
So what I would like to see is that bringing more Web2 gaming, Web2 projects onto the Web3 in NFT space or maybe DeFi space and see like how it will go. Because now we are at the stage where we have done a lot of experiment on the crypto, only crypto for the crypto people. Now we want to make sure like other people, other non-crypto industries market also come into the crypto level, like Aave and Compound are doing with the institutions, right? We also should experiment what in that direction. Yeah.
I think maybe that is because the NFTs concept has mainly been applied to maybe gaming art, but there are industry, for instance, I have been looking the fashion industry, there are the housing market, there is the concept of fractional NFT, which is even more
Yes.
interesting. And I think people, they are still not familiar with that. So for instance, in fashion is breaking through very slowly, but the big boys, they are still, okay, maybe Gucci made the first move, but it kind of like, DeFi is a bit more developed, where NFTs has been just blocked into art, okay, gaming, okay, and that's it.
Right. Yeah, I mean, NFT is very much attractive for the people, for the outside world. But it's also very hard to understand, like DeFi and NFT, like how it works and what should we expect as a non-crypto users. So I think if we think on the direction, like how to make the whole space very user friendly to non-crypto users and how to explain them, that would be like fun experiment. Yes.
Exactly. Listen, one of the things that I have been always amazed because, I mean, I'm working with Ambria Network, which is a project that is a DeFi project that built in Polygon, and we have been speaking with some of your great team members, and it looks like there are so many people so knowledgeable, and is not usual, because usually you have a project with you have the founder, the business developer, and they are the main one. They can talk high level stuff, right? Where in Polygon there are so many people that knows the project inside out, and they are going out campaigning, like working as ambassador, and they are all very knowledgeable. So what I wanted to understand, to ask you here, how did you manage to build up a team, right, that is so different and so enthusiastic and so knowledgeable? Its knowledge is horizontal, it's not vertical here, and that's so unique of Polygon. I haven't seen any other project like that. And how have you done it?
Yeah, I mean that's that's thank you first of all, and yeah, I mean we as a founder, if you think about like we work 24/7. Like even right now, like we work, eat, sleep, Polygon, right? Like we don't think about anything else apart from that.
I
And
love it.
even if
Work and sleep
yeah,
for Polygon.
yeah, and no, even if let's say today also we founders, we co-founders go on the call if something someone has a query or something, we still like at this point of time we go on the Telegram chat, Discord chat and talk with people directly, right, one on one. It's like I'm seeing like that's not a case for other projects and other industry maybe, and that's how like we work, like that's how we work, and that I think that made um uh, us a different a little bit, and the whole in the team wise also, now like let's say assume, if your co-founder is working 20/7, you also kind of have a passion, you'll also be excited about working and going deep into the everything else, like because everyone is also working. So uh, that's a like kind of no good thing or bad thing both, because now people kind of know, people always say, okay, you guys are working 24/7, it's not a good for health and multiple other things, but yeah, like that's how we work. And we don't push anyone in the team, but like people like mostly excited about working and talking with other people in BD. Let's say BD, they will just try to get more projects in the team. In technical also, like technical team also kind of try to do something good which never has been done before, or even if people are complaining about some trade-offs and everything, we just keep pushing, we keep building. Yeah, and we find fun in that, in those things. Yeah.
Yeah, I think, passion, dedication, and working hard is actually paying good result. I mean, this perhaps is one of the reason why Mark Cuban got
Yeah.
in. I see
Yeah.
pretty much about his philosophy and his mindset, like very similar to what you do, or actually really appreciating, your working ethics. How has been working with him? Or how is, because it's still ongoing.
He's so smart. Like, we had a talk with him and he explained like roll up internals. Like, he was that smart. Like, he is kind of, went into deep on roll up and everything. Like, I was like blown away by his knowledge. And that's why, like, we are very lucky to have him on board, Mark Cuban. And of course, like, you see, like, every day, like, he's also a big user on Polygon. Like, he's playing with multiple applications on Polygon, dApps, NFTs, DeFi. So he's too bullish on Polygon, and that's good to see as a, yeah, as a founders, to have him on board. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's great when you have people, they actually understand and they, what they
Yeah.
are talking about, because that's what we don't see, very often. Anyway, it has been amazing to talk to you, and I'm really excited about what you are, you are building with Polygon. And if anybody would like to get involved with the project, or, check it out, or, reach out to you because they have an interesting idea, where they should go.
Yeah, you can always DM me. My DMs are always open. You can send me email at info@medic.network. We have that. We have also careers at medic.network. We have a career page. If you want to, like, if someone is interested in working with Polygon, like, they can go and check if they can. We have many open positions. We have. So yeah, like, maybe DM would be the perfect, easiest way to reach out to me. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much. It was amazing to speak to you, Janti.
Yeah, thank you, and thanks for having me.
All right, what a cool chat with Jainti. I learned a lot from this conversation, and it is amazing to see how the project is growing, the passion, the determination behind the 24/7, trying always to strive for innovation, and also onboarding as many projects as possible. I think this is one of the key elements that distinguish Polygon from other projects out there. And the knowledge within the team, as I mentioned in the interview, is something very unique that you don't find in other projects, and probably is because they work so much, they're so excited about it, and they see the space rather than as a competition, they see as a community that is striving, that is working together. And that's kind of the right attitude to progress the ecosystem as well. So I'm sure we're going to see some more interesting stuff coming out from Polygon. So watch the space. And remember, if you're not subscribed to our YouTube channel, please click the subscribe button and follow us on social media to stay up to date with our news and interviews. If you have any question or anything, drop me a message and I will do my best to get back to you. I will see you next time.